How are we shaped by the places we experience? My first story is White Heron by Sarah Orne Jewett. And in this story, the pine tree shapes the main character, Sylvia. In paragraph 28, Sarah says she had always believed that whoever climbed the top of it could see the ocean. In paragraph 40, she says, the murmur of the pine's green branches in her ears, she remembers the white heron came flying through the golden air and how they watched the sea and the morning together. And Sylvia cannot speak, she cannot tell the heron's secret and give its life away. In paragraph 41, she says, dear loyalty suffered a sharp pang as the guests went away, disappointed. Later in the day, that could have served and followed him and loved him as a dog loves. My first quote is from the first paragraph that we were introduced to the pine tree in the story. The ocean can represent the connection between the conscious and unconscious mind, indirectly showing us that she, Sylvia, is aware of the decision that she needs to make when it comes to the white heron. My second quote is of the pine tree itself. In the story, the pine tree symbolizes transcendence to maturity or a passage to higher knowledge. At the top of the tree, she sees the white heron, and after going through the trials and tribulations of climbing the tree, then seeing the ocean, she's gained a sense of self, of knowledge, and of maturity. My last quote is how the tree affected Sylvia. She saw the heron. She knew she could gain riches if she exposed the heron. However, she bit her tongue, staying loyal to the white heron and its secret. A good example of how she gained knowledge and maturity from climbing the tree. My second story is from Dust Tracks on a Road by Zora Neale Hurston, where the school is the setting that impacted the author the most, the author being the main character of the story, as this is an autobiography. First quote from paragraph 26. The next day I received an episode call hymn book bound in white leather with a golden cross stamped into the front cover, a copy of the Swiss Family Robinson, and a book of fairy tales. My second quote from paragraph 29. But the books gave me more pleasure than the clothes. The third quote from paragraph 30. In that box were Gulliver's Travels, Grimm's Fairy Tales, Dick Whittington, Greek and Roman myths, and best of all, Norse tales. While the school may not seem connected to these quotes, however, within the school they often had visitors, likely missionaries, on a mission to bring the poor children of this town closer to God, as shown in the first quote, where they had gifted Zora Neale a Bible, basically, a hymn book. The visitors who had visited the school on the date specific to the story sent Zora Neale a collection of books because they had learned she enjoyed reading and school. This is shown in the second quote, where she, the author, admits to enjoying the books more than anything else that they had sent, which was clothes and food. How did the school impact her? It sparked her interest in literature, firstly, but beyond all of that, it sparked her career as an author, a very influential author at that. My third story is Georgia O'Keeffe and the American West, in which New York City served as a mold for the kind of artist Georgia O'Keeffe would finally become after she moved to New Mexico. My first quote is from paragraph 1. The influence of the landscapes she inhabited are clearly evident throughout her career, and especially in paintings from both her New York City and her New Mexico periods. My second quote is from paragraph 5. Her crowded often dark visions of the city gave way to the openness and light of the desert and the sky. So Georgia O'Keeffe lived in New York City for roughly 30 years before she started visiting New Mexico, and she discovered her love for the West. She eventually moved to New Mexico in her 60s, I believe, after her husband, a photographer, died. The first quote serves as adequate proof for my claim that New York City was the original mold of her being an artist. New York City was dull and without soul. That rhymed. She did not have much room for creative freedom or kind of painting whatever she wanted like she had in the New Mexico area. But, however, after she moved to New Mexico, her artwork bloomed. It gained life and character, color and soul. Now, this last section is of my own personal life. I chose this reoccurring dream I have. I often dream of a city, a large concrete jungle with infinite space inside a finite area. There are no roads, no cars, only a single road leading into the city. It does not lead out. The buildings are connected with concrete platforms and wire stairs stretching further and further into the sky beyond what I myself am capable of seeing. Near the outskirts lies a hotel. Next door is the convention center. On one of the platforms there's a large glass dome. Peering into it, you can see down. Brick buildings, window after window, floor after floor of buildings stretching down into darkness. My apartment in the city lies in a mall. It's been shut down. Only the remnants of a mall is what this building is. I wake up in my apartment. I'm late. I have to hurry. Scurrying out the doors of my house, running through the mall, I burst out the door. It's bright, yet the source of light is unknown. The streets are packed, yet it is silent. Nobody once glances my way. I see nobody's face. It's a festival day. I don't remember what I was late for. I wander the streets, down dark alleyways, pushing through the crowd. No matter how far I walk or how loud I talk, the city keeps expanding forever. On and on until I'm back inside my house. This city... This is not the only dream. I have many more to share. This, however, is the best one I could have chosen. Cities are often said to represent new opportunities and dreams, productivity, and feeling like you need to meet new people or a desire for new experiences. I believe my city is a representation of interconnecting memories, places I've been, and things I've done and seen. Malls, aquariums, furniture stores, easily replicated into pictures. But that's not the full truth, is it? Dreams of cities can show personal growth, blooming from someone old into somebody new. Cities are sometimes said to be liminal spaces. While there is no one definition of a liminal space, my personal favorite definition is that they're transitional spaces. Hallways, malls, tunnels, playgrounds, they're spaces you're meant to transition through. You're not meant to see them much. My city is transitional. My experience is liminal. I am transitioning from who I was into who I will be. The dream I described above is just one example of my city transitioning through it. Dreams may not be directly influential in shaping a person, but they can show how a person was shaped. I'm being shaped by my experiences, molded into what I will be, and this is reflected in my dreams. It is like a metamorphosis. I am going from one being to the next.